And the door closed because they were late. They wouldn't change. They made everything about their terms, my life. This is why social media is garbage. Now, I'm not saying in the way that it's used for ministry's sake or to build one another up. But when everything is a stinking selfie, you are probably the least candidate for the shift change. Because if you make everything about you, you will not prepare your lamps, your life, your decisions, your choices, your alignments to shift with God. And the door will be shut. And you'll look back and think, well, how come my job's not prospering? How come I'm still by myself? Because you were so busy about yourself, you weren't busy about the kingdom. Very dangerous. Now let's talk here. Ecclesiastes 3. To everything. He didn't leave anything undone, the man who's wise. To everything, mark it down, those of you that are watching, there is a season. Okay, that's why I like Nebraska. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I love the 4 seasons. Some of you are going, oh yeah, I remember that group. Remember the 4 seasons? Remember that? What was his name? Frank and the Seasons? Oh, Frankie Valli. Was he this 4 seasons? Help me out, old people. You don't want to say anything because, okay. Some of you are looking at me going, you're my age, Pastor, for goodness sake. All right, well, sorry, I'm almost 60 in a year. Here we go. All right, now, for everything, there is a season and there is a time. And there is a purpose. Don't miss the purpose under heaven for your life. For your business, your relationships, your marriage, your ministry, your calling, your money. Don't miss the season, the time, and purpose under heaven because God is declaring we're in a shift change. Are you ready? Now watch this. Hebrews chapter 10 is verse 9. This is what you have to understand, this principle. I know people in 40 years of serving God and almost next year, well, over 40 years, almost 40 years of ministry next year, where I have had people squall and bawl and squall why nothing's ever happening for them. And usually the root problem is never God. It isn't God. 100% of the time it isn't God. It's us. Well, I think it's the devil. Well, because you keep feeding him. That's why he goes from a snake, and by the time you read about him in Revelation, he's a fat dragon like Kim Jong-ding-dong in North Korea. Too many people feeding that guy. Right? That's a word. I know you like that, those of you that are at the house there. But listen, here's the point. Look, Hebrews chapter 10, verse 9 is a key to come into a shift change. Are you ready? All right, here it is. Are you ready? He then says, lo, I come to do thy will. He takes away first, or he takes away the first, or some translations, he takes away the old. Now, if you're holding on to the old, he can't take it away. How many of you have ever raised children and they had their favorite toy? At 18 years of age, they were still playing with G.I. Joes. That's not our kids. And you're like, you are 18 years old. For some of us, it needs to be their cell phones. We give our kids a cell phone and they just go crazy with them. We give our kids a video game and we just hand it. No, some of you need to take away the old. You need to get it out of their hands so that they can shift. We hold on to the old. I remember transitioning our children from the crib. I know some of you that raised up around the hood are like, whoa, we know about the crib. No, not that crib. Not that crib. Not that crib. Some of you are like, come on, So I'm talking about a different crib. I'm talking about a baby crib. And how many of you remember transitioning? I don't even want to say transitioning kids because that's in the woke culture. That means you are helping your kid become a different gender? No! How many of you had to help your kids get rid of their baby crib? Come on, Pastor Anthony, and now sleep in a big boy's bed. I don't want the big boy's bed, I want the crib. Okay, how many, 20-year-olds? I want my friends. Right? I want my high school reunion buddies. You've been out of school for 50 years. Grow up. Get rid of the old. Now, the only time this word does not apply is when Brenda and I are cleaning out something. Oh, yeah. She takes away the old. So she tries to convince me to establish the new. She's like, get rid of that, Hank. You haven't wore that in ages. And oh, that is outdated and you look like Fred Rogers. I'm like, no, I don't. The Mr. Rogers neighborhood guy. So how many of you are thrower-wayers? I don't like you people. How many of you are the people that hold on to things? Come on, raise your hand online. Help this preacher out. So Brenda and I, for 36 years, we celebrated in marriage. For the most part, we've had a pretty argument-free marriage. I mean, we still tussle with each other. And we got in a big argument one time. So, all right, you that are watching online, you can't relate to this, right? Because you live somewhere where they don't have what's called a basement. It's like a bottom part of a house. Does that make sense? Like underground. Does that help them? Yeah, like you actually dig underground in the dirt and then you frame it with walls. I know that's weird, but so we had this under the stairs, this closet where you throw whatever. Right? Come on, Officer White, you know what we're talking about. So you store it there. How many have a storage place? My wife's like, Hank, you don't even know where that stuff's at. Like, I'm due too. It's in a very, very secure place in one of the 800 piles of paper. But I know at least where it's at. Give me a year and I'll find it. So Brenda decided we were going to go through things on a vacation. And I'm like, Brenda, we're on vacation. That was that vacation. I'm like, I am not going to clean stuff out from under the stairs. Because I knew I had stuff that she was forbidden to throw away. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure I had a point. So we start clearing out. It was all my stuff. 30 bags later. I know, and they were like the 10-gallon size. No, I'm not a hoarder. Pastor Christian Shanar, they have 4 dogs, 2 cats, and who wants a cat? I'm not going to get a cat. I've come to that resolve. I don't think I'm going to get a cat. But, all right, stop. All right, all you cat lovers just turn me off. Stop. Stop. I'm owing you an apology. Now, watch this. 30 bags of my garbage. And she's like, Hank, you're throwing this away. I'm like, no, I'm not. And what she didn't know, I was going to put a mask on at night and I was going to go rob my stuff. I was going to go and find another place to put it in the house, right? I'm serious. So her and I got in an argument. I'm like, you just have no sentimentality and value. You don't care about my heart. And then she pulls out this one thing. I'm like, oh, no, don't you touch that. I don't know if I should tell you. Should I tell you? Should I tell you, those that are watching? Raise your hand online. Moderators, are they raising their hand online? Now watch this. She pulls out a popcorn bowl. Like, you ever been to a movie before? Come on. Don't act like you've never been to a movie. But, a popcorn bowl, it was empty with 2 napkins in it. She's like, from the theater, she's like, what is this? I'm like, don't you dare touch that. That is holy. And she looked at me and I'm arguing, that is holy and don't you mess with God. She goes, do tell. I'm like, I'm gonna tell. And I'm gonna tell about this and everything you made me throw away. One of these days, Brenda, one of these days, you know, to the moon. And no, I would never touch her that way. But she knows in joking. Do tell, Hank, I said, that popcorn bowl is when I went and watched the Passion of the Christ. And I ate the popcorn after because I was so overcome by what I saw. What's the napkins? Those napkins are soaked with tears for my Messiah. Don't judge me. I need a show of support. How many think that that was a worthy thing to save? There's not one hand in here. Not one. I'm just like, there's not one. Okay. This section that doesn't yell, what do you think? Yes, look at that, hands of support. I mean, I'm telling you. But you got to be willing to take away the old so that you can establish the new. Right? If you're not willing to change, you won't shift. Now look at Isaiah 43. Behold, pay attention. What season are we in? Hey, pay attention. Because I'm doing a what? A new thing. A new thing is a shift. Now it's going to spring forth. Well, if you're holding on to the old and your past is more important than your present positioning for a future blessing, then you ain't going to get it. There are three things we have to understand if we're going to shift, change. Number one, you got to recognize your season is changing. Right? How many of you can recognize when in Omaha, Nebraska, and those of you that are watching, you live in the four-season country, you start knowing right around March, oh, it's getting warmer. Right? Less snow. Well, kind of, you know, or whatever. You recognize it. You can feel that the season is changing. Well, here we have signs. People don't pay attention to signs. They disregard signs. We're gonna talk about that. And it could be staring you in the face. I'll give you one. We'll talk about it in a minute. How about the grapes that came back from the promised land? Because God was trying to take away the old so he could establish the new. And he brings back signs and they're like, huh? We're scared. We're scared of what? You're scared to change. You're scared to shift. And so the number one thing you have to realize is the season change, just like the leaves around here begin to indicate. Can I say another thing? Brenda, you still love me? So when I get back tonight, the door will be locked, but I can sleep in my own bed. No, I'm just teasing. She's never done that in 36 years. That's just a joke. But here's the point. I better be careful is what I think. What was I going to say? I think God might have stopped me because I think I was going down a dangerous road. About a change. What was I saying? Leaves on the trees. Oh, I know what it was. I am going to say it, by God. So do you know since February, I have been in a season of sifting. I've had to watch more decorating shows, more cooking shows, more outdoor camping shows, outdoor cooking shows, outdoor glamping shows, home decor, and I've sat there and like a good husband, I've behaved myself and acted like I am interested, which I am. She knows I'm interested. But there was something that came on the other day that alerted me the season was about to change. It was an announcement for college game day coming. I went, oh my God, the season is changing. I'm getting the remote back, the TV back. And here's the beautiful thing about our marriage. I do honestly, I need to clear the air so somebody isn't right. They're having problems. No, we're not. Listen, Brenda, I do enjoy it. I just need a good joke. Well, it's not my favorite all the time, but I do like it. But she sits there and watches football with me, and I really like it. And she's so trained. I snap my fingers. She brings the pizzas, so, you know, no, she knows I'm messing with her. All right. Second, be ready for things to shift. First, you got to recognize something's moving, something's changing, something's shifting. And then you got to be ready for it. If you don't prepare yourself, that's why the 5 virgins were considered foolish, because they didn't prepare themselves. They couldn't prepare for the shift. They missed the timing. The third thing is you must be willing to not just shift, but change. Now look at Exodus 33, verse 3. God reveals why a lot of people do not ever come into the shift of blessing. So he has to really lay it out with Israel. He says, hey, I have a promise. I have dangled grapes in front of you. I have showed you what I have promised, that I am a God of faithfulness. I am trying to better your life. But you will not go up because you are a stiff-necked people. You know what a stiff-necked is? A stiff-neck is a person who's determined to do things on their terms, their way. And when you're stiff-necked, it restricts your movement, right? Have you ever had a stiff neck before? How many have ever woken up with a stiff neck? Do you really feel like going out mowing the lawn? Right? Do you feel like doing the dishes, cooking? Do you feel like going to the gym? Do you feel like lifting weights? Come on, Willie, do you? If you had a stiff neck? No, you don't. It restricts your movement, but watch this, the most dangerous thing. This is why some of you need to take a break from yourself. Quit celebrating yourself so much. Okay, nobody wants to see the new angled version of you on social media with your selfies. And all that does is you're just fulfilling last days prophecy. In the last days, people will be lovers of themselves. And it reeks of that all over social media. People are in love with themselves. You don't like that, but that's the truth, and you maybe that are watching. But here's the danger of a stiff neck. A stiff neck doesn't just restrict your movement, it restricts God's. Because when you're stiff-necked, God says, listen, unto the land flowing with milk and honey, I'm not going in the midst of you. You're not going to be part of my move. You're not going to be part of my blessing. You're not going to be part of how great your prophetic destiny is. You are not going to get it because you won't change. You won't take away the old. You keep holding on to what you think is important. And God says, don't blame me when you don't get it. Because I'm not going to go with you because you have an attitude. You're stiff-necked. And not only have you restricted your movement, in fact, the proof of it is they went nowhere for 40 years. All because they restricted themselves holding on to the old and not being willing to change. It restricted God's movement. I'm not going to be a part of it. Count me out. Don't blame me. Yes, but God's in control. No, he's not. Not when you are. Look at the next one. Matthew 12. The reason why a lot of people don't shift change is because of this reason here. They're stuck. They're stuck. They choose to be stuck. They keep beating the old same dead horse. I mean, has anybody come along and said, that horse that you're riding is dead? Oh, no, it's not. It's still alive. See? No, that's you making that noise. That horse is dead. You need to get out of that stupid job. It ain't helping you. You need to get away from that person. They're not helping you. And you keep riding it, and you don't realize that everybody else is looking on going, man, you're stuck. And most of the time, if you talk to people, it's because they're stiff-necked. Refusal. All right? Let me show you Jesus. Matthew chapter 12, verse 9. And when Jesus was departed, he went into the synagogue, and pay attention, behold, there was a man with a withered hand. This is why some people's destinies are withering away before their eyes. because they're stuck doing the same old thing. And it's withering away. I know people that hold on. I know people that hold on. I've been around a while, and I've seen ministries that keep holding on, and they won't shift, and they keep withering. Oh, but we're called. Well, Jesus said you should bear fruit. You know, I had to face many times in this church of things that I wondered, why is it not working? Because I was stiff-necked. And I was not willing to change. And I'm telling you, the greatest change that God ever had me do was when he told me something that I did not want to do. He said, buy TV cameras. I said, I'm not going on TV. I don't want to be one of those televangelists. People say all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want that. And I was ready to tell them to find somebody else, but I fear God. And I knew that that was not a good decision. Is Hank Kunneman perfect? No. What I am is, I am very, very sensitive to the heart of my Father. And if I ever feel that I'm grieving him, hurting him, end of discussion. Father, you know best. That's why I said to Yeshua today, I trust you. I want all of hell to know that. I trust you. I will not raise my mouth to speak an accusation against thee. I trust you. Do I always know what's going on? No. But look at Jesus. There was a man with a withered hand, and they asked him, saying, is it lawful? I know people that hold on to businesses, and they're broke. They keep getting in debt further and further and further. Well, something ain't working in your business. It may not be that you're not supposed to have a business, but something ain't working that you're doing. You have no business doing. And the list goes on and on and on. How many of you know somebody, maybe it's yourself, that things are withering? It's probably an indication that, watch, let's keep reading. Jesus goes, there was a man with a withered hand, and they asked him, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him? And he said unto them, what man is there among you that shall have one sheep? And if he falls into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not get him out? In other words, if he's stuck, if he's in a pit, if he's in a place where he can't get out, will he not lay a hold of it? In other words, God's saying, look, if you're withering and you're stuck, I'm here to get you out, but you got to be willing to do something. Now watch, keep reading. Obedience is connected to whether you get unstuck and you shift change. Come on, I know people all day long, through as many years I've been in ministry, that I've had to say to them, I think you need to do this. And they loved me as long as I agree with them. But when I was trying to reveal why and how they were stuck, I was now the bad guy. He's controlling. He's trying to manipulate me. And 99.9% of the time, what I told them was the problem, and many times what would be the result happened. Are you perfect, Pastor? I didn't say that. I have a grace. Okay, that's why some of you teenagers, you need to listen. God gave your parents for a purpose so that you don't get stuck in life doing the wrong things, being around the wrong people, the wrong places, the wrong things, destroying your destiny. They have a grace to protect you. So does the pastor. But oh no, nowadays every pastor is considered, there's something wrong with them. So now the voice of your covering and your shepherd has become many people who speak online, whether it be social media or their channels. And now they become the voice of the pastors because you can't trust authority. No, there's some bad ones out there. Well, I go to the, have you ever had bad groceries? I'm going to stop going to the grocery store. Well, yay you, grow it yourself. don't go to church anymore because all the, really? So tell that to the face of Jesus, which I had his eyes appear to me one time, where he told me, he said, there are people that are calling themselves an apostle and they aren't. There are people calling themselves prophets and they are not. There are people positioning themselves as pastors over giving oversight that are not. And he was mad. I mean, there was fire shooting out of his eyes. The fear of God hit me. I tell you, I hit the floor. I looked up at his eyes and his face was starting to form in front of me. And the next thing he did, he pulled me into him. And I was looking out of his eyes. He said, this is why I gave the fivefold ministry. So that they could be my mouth, my eyes. To bring covering, protection, authority, counsel. Are you here? So this man had a withered hand. There is an attack on the fivefold office. We don't believe in prophets today. We don't believe in pastors. There aren't any more apostles. Beware of false teachers. Beware of televangelists or whatever they are. That's called the fivefold ministry. Apostle, prophet, pastor, teacher, and evangelist, whatever, you get it, 5. And there was a withered hand. But it's not just that. There's people that are that sheep. They're stuck. Now look what Jesus said, verse 12. Listen closely. He said, how much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore is it lawful to do well on the Sabbath day? Look at verse 13. He goes on, he says, then he says to the man, watch this. You're going to have to do something if you want a shift change. You want things to stop withering? You want these never-ending cycles to stop in your life? Then you better obey. You better do something. It requires corresponding action. Do you know what I do on a regular basis? I go to my board of advisors. Pastor Doug, you're on it. I go to my spiritual fathers and mothers, and I do an evaluation. And I say, what do I need to change? What's some corresponding actions? I have to do the thing I hate sometimes. I have to watch myself on TV because I want to be the best delivery boy for God that I can be. And there are some things about me I don't like. Probably all the stuff you read about, I'm sure, right? He twitches, he does this, he does that, right? You know, I got accused of doing free Mason signs. I'm like, I've never done concrete work in my life. Now watch his corresponding action. I think I did this once. Is that considered satanic or something? I thought that was a universal okay. I mean, look, it's in your phone, mojo. Okay? Along with the other ones, you know, the middle finger, the thumbs up, thumbs down. There's the other mojo, you know, with the, whatever you call it. Now look here. Stretch your hand forth. Corresponding action, a decision on your part. Do you want to stay stuck? Do you want to face yourself? Why aren't you any better than what you were? Why isn't your business any better? Why isn't your relationships any better? Because you won't change. And so if you won't change, you can't shift. Welcome to your pastor who just got back from vacation. Now here's the thing. Corresponding obedience and action will always result in results. And he was restored. He was made whole. Something began to prosper. You began to bear fruit. You began to see what you needed to do to align yourself. Now, some people are withered or stuck because they can't get out of their head. Right? Your head governs you. Now, God gave you common sense. He gave you a brain. Obviously, we should use it. But there comes a point where your mind has to be renewed according to the Word of God. You can't be governed by your emotions. Yeah, your emotions have to be part of it because you do have a mind, you do have a will, and you do have emotions. But you cannot let them dictate you and violate peace. You can't violate what God is trying to say to you, but you just don't feel like it. Right? I can't wrap my brain around that, Pastor Hank. That's the problem. You're trying to wrap your brain around it and you ain't connecting your heart. Right? That's why Jesus said it to the woman at the well. Listen, get out of your traditions. If you want to worship the Father, if you want results in your life, now is the time, and must be, that those who want to worship the Father, have results, connection, must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Spirit to spirit. Most people don't know how to do what Galatians 5 says. If you want to live in the Spirit, you got to learn how to walk in it. You can't be governed by, getting in your head and talking you out of everything. Well, how was that supposed to work? Okay, when God told me to tear this place down, my head tries to say, how's that going to work? You don't have time to talk to me, head. I saw it before the engineers said it. I was telling Brenda, I think we're supposed to tear this whole place down. My spirit was talking to me. I was seeing it in my spirit. My head was trying to get in the way, and then the emotions got in when they told me how much it was going to cost. You ever had that happen to you? Oh, yeah, you have. Where's the ooh or whatever? Okay, now watch. People are stuck in never-ending cycles because of old mind sets. You get in your head, and the Holy Spirit, when I was preparing this, He said, it's M-I-N-E sets. Old mindsets. That's mine. No one is going to tell me what to do. They're just trying to control me. No, you're living in sin. You're carnal-minded. You love the world. You love to be in control. And you love it when Pastor Hank is funny and quiet and gets to the point. You don't like this. That's because you have the wrong mind, M-I-N-E set. It's all about you and what you want. This is why Brenda and I, kidding aside, God is my honest witness, my hand is on my Bible. Her and I have a beautiful relationship. And when I tease about stuff, she knows I'm teasing. And every one of you should know. And she's very secure, and no, I am not degrading my wife. If she ever felt that, I would stop. And I do check with her. Am I okay, Brenda, when I tease you? And there's times I have to be careful because sarcasm is not good always. But we have a very secure relationship. But I'm going to tell you something. What makes Brenda and our relationship, Matthew, you grew up with us, is we try very hard to be in agreement. How we raise the kids. No, we're not dressing them up at trick-or-treat time. And we ain't sending them out to go get candy. No, we're not going and doing an alternative. Because, we got to show the world that there's alternatives for the devil's day. You know what an alternative it is? Why don't you dress your kids up, get your butt to church, and fast and pray? Because there's kids being mutilated, trafficked, sacrificed while you play the pretend game of an alternative for your kids. So they could be Snoopy for Halloween. And the devil's laughing at you. Yeah, well, you're out there doing the alternative. I ain't. I'm sacrificing human children's blood, drinking it. All in the name of the Halloween that you're, holiday that you're ignorant of. Brent and I, we are on the same board with finances. It ain't mine, my money, mine. It's ours, including my train fund. Believe me. She comes for my train fund. She doesn't want it really. It's not it's ours. It's not my car. Don't you drive my car. Shut up. It's our car. What about my rights? It's our rights. Woman, it ain't about my headache. No, it's about your relationship of what causes things to be successful is the celebration of your marriage covenant, spirit, soul, and body, and not my headache. That was for somebody because you're using that. Stop it. Now, if I ever had a headache, Brenda believes me. If she ever had a headache, she believes me. That sounds so wrong. But we don't manipulate. We don't play games. We stay on the same page. We pray every day together. We speak the word in our home. It's not mine, 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 mine. And then people wonder why their marriage never shifts to another level of communication, happiness, joy, because somebody is all about the mindset that benefits them. That's why some of you have strained relationships in your family, because you always got somebody. It's always about them. My feelings. You hurt my feelings. I hope I did. I hope I hurt your feelings so bad that you look at yourself in the mirror, get off your stupid phone, and take a hard look at yourself. I hope I hurt your feelings so that maybe you'll change. Well, Pastor, I think you're too tough as a pastor. No, I hope I offend you. I ain't here to tickle your ears. I'm not here to give you a huggy diaper. I'm here to do what Jesus said. Unless you become converted, unless you shift and change in your Christianity, you cannot inherit the kingdom of God. And I'm not here to play games, and neither should you. And if you're in a church, or you're Googling or scrolling through churches that you feel good, but you don't shift and you don't change, get out of those churches. Now, there's the other side. You don't need every week where, Sergeant, whatever. All right, every one of you sheep, let me browbeat you to the point of submission. Okay, I'm not talking about that. You know that. Mindsets. Well, what happens? Am I preaching too long? I even lost track of time. How long have I been going? I don't know how long. Am I good? Thank you. Somehow I feel like that's not the full support of everybody. All right, look at Matthew 15. Jesus shows us why people get into mindsets. Mine. I'm going to serve God my way. That's not what Jesus said. He said you better serve him his way. That's why he's called Yahweh, not your way. He's called Yahweh, not your way. I've met Jesus. I'm telling you right now, I would never mess with him in a million years. Because he don't play. It is amazing how people always try to reduce him down. Oh, he gets us. You haven't met him. It ain't about us. We adjust to him. He made everything about himself in a sacrifice as an innocent man. He did get us. He'll get you if you convert, you change, you repent, right? You shift. All right, let's go on. Matthew 15. Jesus said, and God commanded. Was this a suggestion? In the New Woke Bible, in the New Liberal Translation, and she said, Mother God, oh, don't you go there. You need to wake up, you wokeness. God commanded. He didn't suggest, he commands. God doesn't play. Honor your father and mother. Boy, if people would just do that. Honor your mom and dad. He that speaks back to their mother and father, yells at them, screams at them, curses at them, mistreats them. Come on. Let him die the death. Jesus said, you're going to reap bad on your life. I don't believe that. Ephesians 6. Honor your mother and father, Lord, for this is right, that it may be well with you and you live long on the earth. I didn't write that. Teenagers, listen up. Don't you be talking bad to your parents. Okay, I've been on 3 weeks of vacation. I've been immersing myself with something very enlightening. Leave it to Beaver. You got to go back and watch a few. I've been watching them. I love it. How many of you like Leave It to Beaver? Well, gee, Wally, what are you being so goofy for? Or, hey, Chief Eve, quit being a knucklehead, But just watching how the mindset of parents and kids were. Okay, Ward tells Beaver, last night I watched it for a little bit over dinner because I like it. And I was watching, and Beaver lost his money. Oh, yeah, man. And he was supposed to get a haircut. And so he took matters into his own mindset, and he cut his hair. How many of you ever saw that episode? You need to go find it. It's like episode 4, season 1, I think it is. Who's counting? But Ward goes up there, and he tells the kids to stand up. I'm not standing up. You're not going to tell me what to do. I see law enforcement over here. Boy, we would do better to treat law enforcement right. Yeah, but don't you know how many of them abuse the badge? How many of them also go when there's a domestic dispute? Or there's gunshots in your neighborhood and they risk their lives. Or they go to an accident scene and have to pull a dead body out. What they have to see in the name of serve and protect is more than you want to know. And there is an honor that we need to give to those who wear the badge. Yes, there's bad ones, but there are incredible ones, majority of them. And we thank you. We honor you as well. And you need to go to Green Bay with me. That's an order. Just so you know, I might be gone the week before OTH to opening season, because it's the only one that works with my calendar, and I like football. When I don't, that's you. Okay, I don't like underwater basket weaving. All right, I got to get done. Pastor Doug, you better start coming, because I'm piffy today. All right. Are you learning anything, or am I just, okay. This is only part 1. I don't even know how part 2 is going to be next week. I bet I'll be a lot more, is this a word, nicer? Those of you that watch, I think I'll be a lot more gooder. I'll be a lot more nicer. I think I'm going to be a lot more nicer. I'm going to be totally nice next week. I am nice. I'm a nice guy. All right, here we go. No, next week, to be honest with you, I'm going to just preach it however it comes out. But I'm not trying to be scolding. I am so compassionate and passionate about what I've heard. I want you to position yourself for a new season. So watch this last one. All right. God commanded, saying, honor your father and mother. I already went over that. Now watch this. This is mindsets, M-I-N-E, mindsets. But you say, in other words, you're saying already the opposite. You've already established your own mind. You've already established what you're going to do. God is commanding. God's laying it out. And you're complicating it because you're determined to say what you're going to say. God gets me. He doesn't care if I hold grudges. He doesn't care if I cuss. He knows I'm a Christian. Okay. He doesn't mind those people. Jesus hung around them. Okay, sure. It's why you're withered. It's why you're stuck. Anytime people have to defend evil, compromise, carnality, sin, they themselves are stuck in it. Because Jesus, and that's part of what 5786 is, it's a separation. It's a line drawn in the sand. Jesus made it very clear, don't love the world or the things that are in the world. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life, or the love of the Father is not in you. I didn't write that. He said, come out of the world and be separate. Quit trying to, no, it doesn't mean you can't evangelize, but you ain't there to evangelize at the strip club. Especially if you're a man at the women's strip club. Well, I go to the men's. Well, then we need to have you in to check you out, make sure that you're not the other thing. So you're saying nobody should ever go to the strip club? No, I'm saying, why don't you wait till they come out? Why do you got to see them with their clothes off? Gets me in the moment. Sure. 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 Or you're bellied up at the bar drinking with who knows what at the bar because you're just trying to reach them. That's what Jesus did. You're not Jesus. He sinned not. Why is it then when you're supposed to go home to your 3 kids, after your friends that you're evangelizing, you wake up drunk, late for dinner, spending the formula money for the baby on evangelizing with your buddies after work? All in the name of evangelism. Well done, you good and faithful servant. You say, now look at verse 6. Honor not thy father or mother, he shall be free. But God says, you've made my commandments of no effect. When you get into your own mindset, watch what's coming out of your mouth, because it'll affect your thinking, which ultimately will affect your doing, because now you're going to make. And here's what's a problem. Nobody's going to be able to tell you anything because you think you're right. And yet people who are looking at you are going, you are violating a lot of things of Scripture. You're violating a lot of things of common sense. You're violating a lot of things. You know, people said, well, Pastor Rick, I don't know how. Define righteousness to me. This is not hard. It's written right in the Word. Do what's right. R-I-G-H-T. Do what's right. Well, I don't know what is right and wrong. That's not what God said. After man sinned, God says, now mankind, is gonna know right from wrong. That's what he said. I never buy that lie. You know in your heart, when you're texting your little girl on the phone, and she ain't your wife. She's your assistant. Or you work with her. Oh, no, she's just a friend. Oh, really? You know in your heart. Why don't you show those text messages to your wife? When she texts, you won't show it. When she calls, it's a friend at work. Really? You know it's wrong. You know in your heart what is right and what is wrong. Quit playing. My phone is open anytime for my wife. When I text a woman, I let her know. Or I group text her. Huh? Or I make her, hey, Amy, where's Amy, my assistant of 28 years? Do you know that Brenda is also my in-home secretary? You know that? She writes a lot of my messages for me. I can't find my glasses. That's really what it is. Here's another thing. She gets to the point. And last thing I'm going to say, how many of you are texters or phone callers? I am not a texter. I know some of you watch me like, oh, that's why you didn't get back with me. Yeah, because I hate texting. I'm a phone call guy. Matthew can do whole term papers on his fingers. So can Anthony. I'm like, how in the world do they do that? You know? All right, let's stand to our feet. Did you enjoy this? All right, online it's probably going to be delayed because Pastor went long, but it's okay. I know I'm hitting everybody upside their head and one downside the other way and everything because I'm just trying to get you to shift. But you got to be willing to change. Now, next week I'm going to show you some really good tips on how you can do it. Because don't you want to shift? How many want to shift? How many want to change? Right? All right. And realize I preach to myself. Well, how do I know that? Because I hear what comes out of my own mouth too. I also know what I prepare, right? That I'm held accountable to as well. All right, Heavenly Father, we thank you for every person in this room, and I am so glad to be back with them. I love them, and I honor them, whether they're in this room or whether they're online. But God, it is a time of self-evaluation. It's a time of sifting. We allow you to do that in our lives. We allow you to sift, shake, remove, get rid of anything that we need to. We're ready to face ourselves. That's what the scripture says. Let a man examine himself. God, we're doing that because we believe your word that first is the sift, then comes the shift. And we're preparing ourselves so that we can come into the destinies, the blessings, the divine alignments of every aspect and facet of our lives. And we're willing to change. We lay everything at the altar. And God, this day, today, we surrender afresh to you. We remember Luke 6:46. Why do you call me Lord, but you don't do what I say? Yeshua, it's time. It really is. And I start with me to look at ourselves and to say, we will shift. We will change. We will honor you. We will do what you say. And God, I thank you that we're not going to hold on to the old, but we're going to shift to the new. Now, everybody stretch forth your hand. Can you do that? Just, you don't even have to put it up, but I just feel like we need to do this. Just kind of, and those of you that are watching, if you could just, physically stretch your hand for a moment. Remember what happened to the man with the withered hand? Maybe there's something in your life that's been withering because you need divine alignment. You need to let God sift you. All right, say this. Say, Lord, I let go of anything that is not right in my life.